Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of General Geekery. With me, as always, is JD,
Hello.
and we have a very special guest for you today. We have Marauder John himself. Marauder John, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
This is an honor.
It really is. I mean, I think you're like, I don't want to kind of like piss on your fire here, but you're like the second most important guest we've ever had on, I think.
Oh, thank you. No, it's just we're all collectors. We're all passionate about our hobby. We're all passionate about the things that make us, happy and excited. So being able to chit chat with a couple of people feel the same way, it's a great way to spend an afternoon.
Yeah, but you're geek royalty, sir. I mean, you started an action figure company, and well, it's a little bit like the crack dealer. I mean, no, it's except slightly less harmful, but just as expensive.
Pretty much.
Exactly. It just stemmed from being a collector. All my life, I was like a little kid who took care of his toys, and he held on to them. I'm older than you guys, but back when I was a teenager, you weren't allowed to be in the toy aisle. That wasn't cool. But now it's a badge of honor, and it's great that our hobby has grown so much to be accepted. But why did I start Marauder? Well, it was an accident. Okay, I'm just a collector who used to amass huge armies. You still live army building. Okay, and one of my favorite characters to build was Snow Serpent version 1. I had like 250 of this guy. I loved him. But finding that gun, that AK-47, that gray AK-47 was difficult. And even back in the late 90s and early 2000s, they wanted $8, $9 for each little gun. I had 250 figures. I had 50 guns. I wasn't going to spend a couple $1,000s for that gun.
And that's if they had the stock, because it's one of those that it was prone to breaking because it had the thin stock on it.
You couldn't find it. So I said, I need to find some cool guns for my figures. So I said, well, heck, I know some really great designers. I know some great sculptors. I got some factory contacts. So let's see if I can have some guns made that will fit my niche, the things I need, and maybe some other people have the same desire, the same urge for guns. So it all worked out. I got some great designs. I got some sculpts done. I said, I'm going to get these guns made. And it just so happened that they arrived a week before the 2005 Minneapolis convention, the G.I. Joe show. So I said, well, heck, if you're going to jump in the deep end of the pool, I said, I'll go to the G.I. Joe convention and I'll see if they like it there. Talk about swimming in the deep end of the pool with the sharks. Okay. If they don't like it, it's done. But
talk about serendipitous timing too.
Exactly. I said, so I called him real quick. There was one booth left. Brian Savage, the G.I. Joe guy, who used to run the fan club. So I got one booth left. You can have it. Of course, $400. I said, I'll take it. All I needed was 2 square feet of the table, and just happened to be next to Kevin Watts, great guy, fantastic paint master. And I said, Kevin, you can have this whole booth. I just need this 2 square feet of table for my guns and my action figures. Great. So I get there, I set up, and about 5 minutes before the door opens, heart's beating, because all of a sudden I realized, hey, all this time and effort I put into this, is this a crazy idea? Are other people going to like this? Open it up. Long story short, they came in, they loved it. G.I. Joe fans are the best, the most, the passionate collectors. They understand. They recognize an idea that they like, and they'll support it. So really well accepted. So then we rolled into the series 2, then to series 3, series 4. We said, hey, let's do some modular weapons. So I want to grab like an M4, be able to put different, scopes and silencers and grips and magazines on it. Let's see if that can be done. Came in, folks loved it. So we rolled to series 5, series 6. About series 6, we said, hey, I'm having a tough time finding cool figures for my guns now. So
some problem to have there.
Exactly. I said, because a lot of the figures at that time were this, like in around 2011, 2012, they were getting very expensive, $70, $80 figure on the card. And I like the army build. I need 100 figures. I can't, justify, again, the issue finding them. And then if you're going to pay that money, and then I want to open them up, and then that's a step you have to take too. I got to take it off the card, So I said, well, I'll try to find some cool figures for my guns. I said, well, okay, I got some. Let's just see. If I want to do an action figure, what would I want? I said, well, there's some amazing customizers out there. You guys might be a couple of them. You can take like 6 different figures, take the arms off this guy, the legs off this guy, this head. Exactly. Perfect. Get an X-Acto knife, cut off a pocket, do all, and then paint it, and it looks beautiful. Exactly. Okay, I'm preaching to the choir. I said, well, I can't do that.
Yes,
So why
sir.
why can't I have that level of fun and accomplishment? So that was my idea behind the action figure line. I said, I want it to be custom, like modular. We experimented with the weapons. I said, let's make them modular figures. I said, so different bodies, you can change arms and legs, and how about different vests and headgear and heads and scarves and mask and pouches, pockets. I said, well, I also want the gear to be modular. So we thought about vests with modular attachment points. I said, so you can put a pocket here if you want, or you put a ammo mag or a holster or something. Get creative, like you guys can do by being skilled and talented. I want to be able to just grab something and plug it in and say, look, I made something. I said, and also let's put modular mounting points on like the shoulders and the thighs and legs, so you can custom. Exactly.
I'm in the midst of deciding which configurations I want right now.
So I said, that's what I want. And then it just so happened at that time, I was through Kevin Watts introduced me to Boss Fight Studio. They just left their prior company and were starting their own design house. So I was able to be their first customer. It's like getting Michael Jordan before he goes to North Carolina and to the NBA to work on your intramural team. So I had Boss Fight Studio, these amazing, talented designers and sculptors, and I told them what I wanted, and they just took it and gave me the Marauder Task Force.
More serendipitous timing, sir.
Exactly.
Your karma must be amazing.
Better to be lucky than good. That's
what I've always said.
Yes.
Yeah. So then
I'm impressed.
So then we got the designs. Then I launched the Kickstarter in March 31st, 2014. Okay. And I released it, but most people saw it on April 1st. So they thought it was an April Fool's joke. I remember the first couple of days, I said, no, this is serious. This is an idea, modular action figures, and you can customize them, and all these fully articulated. So then we did after that was success, very wonderful support from our fans, then our supporters. Then we did the Valkyries. Then we rolled into I thought, well, how about guys with t-shirts and jeans? So let's do those guys. How about exosuits? I want a fully articulated dog rather than just a little statue, something that could bend and move and open the jaw. So we got that. Then we said, well, heck, how about guys in dress suits? Let's do dress suits. So it just rolled. And then we said, how about World War II? I grew up building little Tamiya models. I said, I want a modular World War II line. And then again, because of the wonderful support from the people who liked our items, well, here again, we couldn't do anything without the people believing, what we're doing or how we're doing it, but it's because of them. And then now that leads us into our Vietnam project.
Yeah,
Which that seems to be going pretty well for you.
Yeah, I am so amazed with how well I had like an alarm set to check it out when it went live, but I ended up having something else come up that I had to do, and then I'm like, oh hey, the Marauder Kickstarter's live. Let me go take a look at it. And it was probably about 9 o'clock my time, and I looked at it and I'm like, it's fully funded already.
Yes. Yeah, it was the response is overwhelming. Again, working with our designer Troy McKee.
Mm-hmm.
He did the World War II. He did the World War II. He's doing the Ultra that we have on the way, which is it's exactly what a guy in the military looks like right now in Iraq or in Afghanistan. Okay, the uniform, the accessories, increased articulation, like in the shoulders and the thighs and the ankles and the wrists. So we did that, and that should be available here by this Christmas. But we also led into the Vietnam, because Troy's done these amazing designs, and we worked with him for a long time. And I said, you know what, I'm going to start this Kickstarter with just your illustrations. We're doing it 2 weeks longer, so we will add prototypes and some paint matches later. But I said, I feel good enough with the illustration and getting the idea across. Let's start with that. And we were funded in less than a couple hours for the first one.
Less than that, I think, because it couldn't have been more than 1 or 2 hours after the Kickstarter that I had started that I looked, and I'm like, it's.
There were what, five stretch goals reached within the first 24 hours.
It was for the first few hours there was, I kept updating. Oh, this is unlocked. I got to add this. I got to change this. Got to send this message. And it's huge, because with any Kickstarter, you have that initial introduction. It's huge. And then they call it the plateau, where it goes for a long time. And then you have the spike at the end. Well, our spike was much more than I expected. I patterned it to be a little better than the World War II, and it spiked after that. And even now, right now in the trough, it's still steady. And then we have a lot of things at the end, and we've like 3 stretch goals still don't lock, but I have 6 more that we haven't announced that I had to scramble, say, hey, Troy, you were going to do these here in about 3 weeks. I said, I need you to do them now because we need to have them ready. Because I just can't say, okay, this XYZ figure is a lot. No, I need to show the picture. So that's what he's been doing, scrambling to get those. But again, everything works out.
We're gonna have Troy on in a couple of weeks, I think.
Oh, he's great. He's great. He's an absolute pleasure to work with. He's a toy guy. He gets it. He's a collector, and
he lives a couple hours from me here. We've met up a couple one time. He's a great guy.
Good guy, and he has a real action. He has an extra line coming out next summer too, which is good stuff. His longbow.
Yes, we're gonna have him on a couple times. We're gonna have him to talk about just Joe Fest, and then we're gonna once his Kickstarter's live, we're gonna have him on to plug his show. One of the things that we like to do is anybody that's getting started or has a Kickstarter going, we're more than happy to have them on the show. As like I always say, let's pimp your wares, man. Let's get you some.
Well, it's that old thing. Rising tide raises all boats. I love when I see the Marauder figures, like the background army building fodder among people putting their armies. They have that, like the main license, recognizable characters, and then behind them are all our guys. That's fine. You don't like that particular weapon, we'll upgrade it with ours. And that's why we did the 1/12 weapons, because there's always room for 1/12 weapons. That's why we love seeing so many companies get into the 6-inch scale, because maybe they're not happy with the guns. We got the guns for you. We have some more 1/12 scale accessories coming out. Hey, maybe you don't like that particular head. Well, we got a head for you. You got one headgear, you want a gas mask, one. Again, it's one big happy family. As long as we're all providing everything to what everyone would need, we're there.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
Well, I want to say, when I met you back in 2006 in New Orleans, I remember the series of weapons that had just come out. You had the gray series that was a limited run.
Yeah.
Like they were gray plastic. And I remember I bought 2 sets while I was there, because I'm like, sometimes I get really hung up on things like the guys wearing the black gloves holding the black guns, and I can't see the guns that well. So I'm like, ooh, gray weapons. Plus, then I could do the paint wipes on them, give them a little bit of detail. I remember at the time thinking to myself, ooh, maybe they'll come out with more different colored guns. And I'm like, no, maybe they really should not do that. That's opening a can of worms that you probably don't want to open. And looking back, I'm like, yeah, I'm really glad you didn't actually do that, because I would have been hoping for things like blue guns. I'm like, no, this is what brought down the Joe line in the 90s. No, I should not be hoping for anything like that to be a fan-made project. So looking back, I'm glad you didn't. But I was glad to see that it was not a flash in the pan. You just kept coming out with more and more.
Well, that's because of this. That's because of support from you folks. Because if I would come up with this idea and did these things and no one wanted it, I'd be like the old lady with all the cats. Look at me, I'm sitting here with all my little guns, and it's fine. So thank you for preventing me from for following that path.
Well, I got to tell you, this wall right behind me here, this is all custom carded action figures right here.
Oh, that's cool.
And I can guarantee you, every last one of those guys has at least one Marauder weapon.
See, and that's what we love. We just, again, like I said, you guys are customizers, but I can go, when you see those geared up figures that we do on the weekends, or we prepare for the convention, I did those, I created those, and I can't do that stuff, but I can walk up to all the piccolo case, say, I'll grab this figure, I'll do this vest. Oh yeah, that looks good. And how about this? No, not that extra. How about this backpack? And when all is said and done, it looks great, because it's all the options are right there. So a lot of people who like to do customs, they can't get from step A to step M, because there's a lot of stuff involved along the way. But if the items are ready, they're already pre-painted, they're interchangeable, there's engineering in place so the parts work together.
I think that's been one of the biggest boons to the people that want to customize but say that they can't, especially people that have difficulty painting. Painting's like my favorite thing to do, but I know a lot of people have trouble with it. And the Marauder Task Force line takes that out of the equation completely.
Well, exactly. You could probably do You can paint wonderful eyes. I can't paint an eye. Put a gun to my head. It's just, okay, just end it now because I can't paint an eye. But now we have, a couple hundred different heads that come factory painted. You can, so it's not a matter of, I got to make sure the eyes are right or the beard or the hair. No, just what skin tone and what hair color you want. Done.
I can paint eyes. I don't want to paint eyes. Eyes are the absolute worst. Can I do it? Yes, but I have to be in exactly the right mood. And you know what? More often than not, I'm not. So I try to avoid painting the eyes as much as possible. But I gotta say, when you talk about those geared up figures, I don't have a lot of them. Most of them I missed out on last year because you put those out for the pandemic every week. Oh, look, geared up figures. Holy crap. Oh my God. I waited a half an hour. I missed it. I can't get them. One of my favorite ones was the one that looked like Lifeline. The irony of that is I can't stand Lifeline as a character because of what Sunbow did to him. And the figure itself is just goofy to me. I'm like, he's a medic wearing Shoot Me Red. And yet, when I look at the geared up Marauder version, I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's really cool. If I like, my brain just goes to mush, and I'm like, I want one of those. And it's still on my list to get because I'm like, it shouldn't work. But
it does.
I love the variety of color schemes you've got, the different environments, the tactical options. But you take a figure like Lifeline, which was bright as all get out, but you put it with the intricate figures that you make with the intricate gear, and I'm like, yeah, that works. That works way better than it should. That works better than I want it to. So congratulations, sir.
Well, thank you. But
I don't. If that you actually sparked a little bit of an interest in Lifeline for me. I'm like,
well,
wow,
I think those just having those actually was a huge morale boost for a lot of people too.
Yes.
Because I got stuck at home. I was an overseas contractor at the time. I couldn't get back to my site. I was stuck home. I didn't have anything to do. I got one figure every week. And when it came, it's like, okay, this is a customizing challenge. What can I do with this? And that's what it kept me going while I was stuck at home until I could get deployed again.
And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to, everyone, it was a tough time for everybody. We said, how about something fun, something that value priced, that gets a little creative. Let's say, what creative thing can we do with these body parts and things and that everyone will enjoy, and to give you something to look forward to on that Saturday. Granted, we couldn't provide hundreds and hundreds of them because it's just we didn't have a lot of the parts, but something to make it an event. Okay, it's the Marauder Geared Up weekend. What are we going to do? And then we rolled it out to like this last Joe Fest. We had 4 brand new figures. We brought a bunch of other figures that were homages to Joe type figures, and the folks just loved it. And
again, my buddy went to Joe Fest. I couldn't go, but my buddy Johnny went, and he picked up a trio of the Vipers for me. They're not Vipers. I can't remember what you call them, but
Elite Ops.
Yes, I love them. They look like the Cobra Vipers that I want to have. They don't have goofy rolled up sleeves. I don't care what anybody says. It's not practical for Cobra Troopers to have rolled up sleeves. But I really like the Marauder versions. So he's like, you need me to pick up anything for you? I sent him on a little bit of a shopping trip, more than I wanted to. I didn't mean to. I'm like, sorry if you feel like a personal shopping service, but he's like, no, it's cool. And I'm like, okay, must show restraint. Last year, I did get like the October Guard Dana, the ish character, the geared up, and I got Flint. I missed out on half a dozen other ones that I wanted, but it was really cool to see him again in the pictures from Joe Fest. People took a picture of the whole lineup with the geared up figures. I'm like, wow, that is really super impressive. So I want to say keep doing what you're doing, but it's only going to get better.
Well, I hope, God willing, but you weren't the only one. We had a lot of supporters come up with lists from their friends. They said, okay, here's my stuff. Okay, now this is what I need for my buddy. And they're on the phone. No, I want this and this and this. Could you give this particular weapon with a figure? Sure, no problem. And then we love Joe Fest. We love, Ed Schumacher does a wonderful show. It's a great time to be with our fellow collectors, because you're able to put faces to names.
Right.
You know, that's what if you come by the Marauder booth, you know you're going to get something free. We have freebie bags and freebie pencils and shirts, and just as our way of saying thank you. Yes, you're coming out to buy some things. Thank you. We appreciate it. That helps keep the lights on and make more things. But also, we were all collectors. You know how sometimes you go up to a dealer booth or you're trying to buy something and they're not really friendly. You know, they don't really show appreciation, or they just give my
Or you
money.
ask them if they have something, and you suddenly realize you're talking to the person who's holding the fort down, while the person who was running the booth isn't there, so they don't actually know what you're asking about because they went to go
the last show I was at.
Yeah, where it's like, do you have such and such? And they're like,
what is?
No, you got to wait till the guy comes back.
Right.
You don't want to wait till the guy comes back, and then the guy comes back. And the thing he's got, he has it, but it's under the table. It's double what you want to pay for it, and won't toggle the price. I'm like,
well, it's tough
sell it or not.
When we started getting really growing and making more of a commitment to the Marauder, I said there has to be three. The driving force has always been three principles since day one. One is quality items. Okay, you can tell by the feel. You pick up an item, you bend a joint. You tell by that paint app. You guys know, you guys have been collectors long. If you just look at something, this is not good. I never wanted to have everything we produce or everything we carry. I want to say, hey, I'll put this in my collection. It feels that good. So it's quality. And second is price point. You have value. You want a value for your dollar. Yeah. Could we give everything away for 5 cents each? Yeah, we'd be in business for like 15 minutes. But we're not going to charge. I get emails from people. I've received emails in the past saying, oh, your items are much too cheap. You need to raise the price of this to $6, $7. This. No, that's not the point. I want to have as many people
begging to pay more for stuff. I don't understand this.
It was some other people telling me this is how I should do it, which is fine. And appreciated that email, but I'd much rather keep it affordable so everyone can get as many as they want, rather than I'd rather give 100 people get 100 things each than one person get 2. So it's better that way. And the third is just insane customer service, because we love our supporters. We know what it's like to deal with people and to really want something and to be appreciated. That's why we'll send thank you emails. We'll give you thank you things. Every order, we give you a thank you bonus. Thank you. Here's a $3 gun. It's a $1.50 order. Here's a $3 gun. That's fine. But just to let you know, we appreciate it. So, and everyone who works with me, all the guys who help me out at the booth, all the guys who do conventions for me in the Midwest and stuff, they've committed to that. They're great people. They understand. They appreciate the collector. They appreciate the items, and they know how to treat people nice. So that's the important thing too. Good stuff, good price, and be nice about it.
And the value, I got to tell you, I mean, just because of the value, I have stopped using 90% of my customs are a Marauder Task Force figure now. I mean, I'm working on an iron anvil, female iron anvil. It's all Marauder parts.
That's
got the new vest that you just came out with. I'm using it on my Hondo McLean figure, mask figure.
Oh, that's cool.
Most of those figures that are on the wall, most of those are Marauder Task Force figures.
Oh, thanks. But see, and that's what we want.
It's affordable. That's what makes it. Used to be, I used to have this like limit. It's like $50 is the max that I can spend on it on parts for one custom.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly it's like, okay, now I can afford a figure.
Yeah.
I need 5 more to make this custom. But I can go to Marauder Task Force, spend half of that, and have a fully kitted out figure for everything I need for the custom that I have in mind. Put it together, paint it up, bam, it's done. And that's what's made it affordable. That is what I love about Marauder. And JD and I have been supporters since wave 1 of the guns. I mean, we bought some of the wave 1 stuff when it came out.
Oh, thank you.
I remember the announcement that there was going to be a Marauder Steadicam machine gun. I'm like, what? What? This is amazing, because, Hasbro had come out with one in the Pursuit of Cobra line, but it was huge. I'm like, what is happening here? I'm like, why is it that big? It was giving me flashbacks to the vintage Saw Viper figure that had that gun that was bigger than the figure. I'm like, what is happening here? Then I saw the the Steadicam machine gun that Marauder made. I'm like, that's more like it. I went to buy one. Oh, that's sold out. Hey, that's not. Oh my God, they just put it on the website a little while ago. I have 4 of them now, but for a little bit, I'm like, I'm like, apparently I wasn't the only one that was anticipating the Steadicam machine gun.
Used it for one of my customs. I made a like Saw Viper Range Viper crossover with it, and it was fantastic.
Oh, that's cool. Well, but like at we had a Marauder Mayhem event. We have it at Joe Fest, where it's just because the booth gets so busy, we don't get time to really visit with our supporters and just with fellow collectors. So we set up the Marauder Mayhem night where we talk about thank yous and show them items that are in development, things that are on the way, and give a bunch of freebies and stuff. And one of the things we get these raffles. Talk about oversized items. The original, the Marine flamethrower was about this long. I kid you not. It was huge, about and we got the test shot, and we got some samples. I said, my God, I can't. You put on the figure and he just falls right over. So that was one of the things we gave away was the prototype and a casting of it as part of the raffle. There's a little piece of Marauder history. So here's that flamethrower. Flame with the little flame. We gave one of the original one, that the actual production one that came with a smaller one. So one of those is out there. So when you talk about oversized, that was a mistake we avoided on that.
Well, the exosuits, I made my metal head using that exo.
Oh, that's cool.
So
I love that. I love seeing the custom. We get so many cool images and custom pictures, and that's why we set the Marauder Task Force page and the Marauder Gunrunner page, the Facebook page. There's people post it because we get these great emails, and I was going to try to do a feature on the website that's just like a gallery. Here's people want to see pictures of all the geared up figures we've released. So I want to put that there, but then also here's submissions of customs people done with our things.
Yeah, I always post my customs on the Marauder Task Force group. I get and the people in the group are some of the best people in the community. I mean, I always get a lot of responses and a lot of comments on my work when I post it in there. So it's like that's one of the first groups I always post in, because it's one of the most popular and it's one of the best. The people are always great in those groups.
Oh, it is, and the feedback you get too. I mean, and we get people say, hey, could you do this? Could you do that? And we'll do it. Or like right now with the Kickstarter, folks are saying, we really want a mid bicep rolled up sleeve and everything. I looked at all the figures. You know what? We have right above the elbow. We have full sleeves. We have rolled up forearms. I said, you know what? We don't have that mid bicep. So I worked real quick with the illustrator and checked with the sculptor. I said, hey, let's add this. And we did a quick running change. So I said, hey, now you want that mid bicep? We'll give you 2 different camo colors. Done. And it's right now added to the Kickstarter. Now, granted, when we release the items on the site, there'll be a lot more options, a lot more colors, a lot more things. But right now, we're trying to maximize the changes and things available as we can with the Kickstarter, so it appeals to as many people as possible. And they see, hey, they are listening to me. Oh, they do want this. And everything works out. Some of these Kickstarter stretch goals you have yet to announce, going to make a lot of folks happy. They're going to, oh my gosh, it's just.
I'm so tempted to ask you to just give just a little hint.
Can you tease it? Yeah, can you tease? But no, we're not going to ask you to do that. You can do that if you feel like it, but we're not going to ask you to.
Well, it's I'm a big believer in no spoilers. Like when the Mandalorian season's on, I avoid Facebook until after I've seen the episode.
Good call.
Because
I know, because a lot of folks, I love them to death. And that's their opening line. Do you believe that, Darth is Luke's dad? What the hell? How the heck?
Yep. I just had it happen for the Black Widow movie.
Yeah. Yes. So I don't watch any of that, but because again, it's a 45-day long event. We ran it 2 extra weeks because we're going to add, prototypes and paint masks, things along the line. And the last 3 or 4 days want to really explode. So I don't want to do everything now and then just say, okay, we're not going to be able to add anything more, do anything. We just have to coast as it is. Here's some stuff.
I didn't expect spoilers, but that is definitely one of the points that I wanted to make, because I don't think a lot of people noticed that there is more stuff coming if they just wait a bit. So I really wanted to illustrate that point to people, is just like, there's more stuff coming. Just hang on.
What we are going to do here at the beginning of this week, we stop at stretch goal number 14. Okay, I'm going to go through and put stretch goal number 15 and just put like a shadow, so they know, oh, this one's ready to be unlocked. Right now, I tease, hey, there's more. 15, 16, 17, there's more coming. Well, here's 15 and 16, definitely. If we hit this, then if we do unlock the nurse if she's the number 14, then boom, we'll show what number 15 is. And then
Right.
it could generate some. And a lot of the ones in the works, a couple of them are just they're so cool. You know, it's that bells and whistles, you know, being a collector, being a passionate fan, but oh, that is so cool. My gosh, you know, but we hope everyone reacts the same way.
And I'm blown away from just how responsive people are for this, and it is clear that this is something that is here to stay. So what is the future? I mean, this, people are wanting to know what's next already. I mean, this is a done deal. What do you have? What do you want to see next?
Well, like right now, we're always trying to look ahead. I always try to stay, always concentrating on what we're going to do next. Okay? And like the Marauder Mayhem, we talk about, you know, what we have in the works. Okay, like one thing we did reveal is we have it's called Aqua Ops. Okay, it's a line of underwater male and female in scuba suits with aquatic gear and accessories, and again using the modular features. They have the backpack you can attach, the aqua pack, you can attach all sorts of accessories to it. You know, harpoons and propeller, propulsion units. So that's one thing we have going there. We also have some new valve bodies. You know, we haven't really done anything with the valve bodies outside of the t-shirt and the regular utility uniform. So there's a body that's a little more, I don't want to say superhero-esque, but it's a little more feminine.
Okay.
And also there's more legs that are more utilitarian, a lot bigger boots and pockets, and there's also going to be a version where she has you know, everyone wants a tank top. We'll get you a tank top. Everyone wants shorts with a valve. That's coming too. So those are in the works there. And then the other one we have is the Astro Ops, the spaceman, you know, with the helmet, with the Moo backpack, with that's modular attachment points. Now we showed all these things at Mayhem. We said, hey, please kind of keep it under your hat. So we don't really show the designs. We spend a lot of time and money on the design, so we want to keep them under a hat until, you know, we're ready. But
Right.
so those are things we're working on right there. And then also we're expanding the 1/12, you know, weapons and accessories. Okay, because the weapons were very popular. So our series 3, which is on the way, which we should have by hopefully this November, a lot more guns. And then we also have we talked about Marauder Task Force Wrath. Okay, everyone, what's Wrath? Well, Wrath is like an umbrella to cover, not so much like you have your agency ops, you have your aqua ops. They have like a theme to it. Whereas Wrath is just a real cool way for us to release accessories underneath an umbrella. Okay, so we have coming out this fall a chrome armor mask. Okay, if it's underneath all the helmets, and it looks like a hockey mask. It's a chrome visor straight, and it has like attachment points on the back, like you put a hockey mask on. It's like an over a balaclava. So you take the helmet off. Oh, this person's wearing. He's just for wearing a mask. Then you put any kind of helmet on, and immediately he looks like a bad guy. You grab a desert ops guy. You take off the little human head. Put this guy on. Put that mask on. He's a bad guy. Okay. Another thing is, we wanted to get a little more creative with the helmets. Right now, our helmets they're semi-realistic. Okay, they look very similar to current items that are available with our real troops or have happened in the past. How about a helmet that's, you know, 15 minutes in the future, and you look at it, he's a definite bad guy. Okay, so our designer came up with some really cool ideas that look like if you cross several different kind of helmets together and they have a baby, that's it. When you see that helmet on any figure, he's a bad guy. Okay, so we wanted that option, a whole bunch of different colors. And then we get a lot of requests, cyborgs. Oh, I want a cyborg. I want a cyborg. I want robotic arms. So we're going to have robotic forearms that you pop in there. They're all mechanical, and they can pop into our current figure. So you want to make a guy who's half human, half cyborg, and I have that option. If everything works out, those things should be here by November this year too.
Sweet.
So that's kind of what's in the work there. Yeah, we have more we're already planning out into late 2022 and even to 2023. Again, we have to stay ahead. And another reason, like with this Kickstarter, people say, well, why don't you release this figure? Well, there could be 12, 15 more figures we could add, but then that all takes sculptor time.
Right.
And then your sculptor time could become delay your tooling time. And then the tooling time delays your production time, and it pushes everything out. So we have to eventually just put a line in the sand, say, okay, this is our stopping point with these figures, and then we'll go on. But again, and also with this World War II, with the Vietnam set, a bunch of new weapons. You know, like the M16 removable ammo mag, AK-47 removable ammo mag, the Swedish K. I always loved that gun with the folding huge wire stock. You know, so we used this opportunity to put a bunch of guns in that were true to Vietnam, but also guns that people would want. Big old M60. Oh my gosh, you know, the M79 grenade launcher with, you know, break open the barrel, put a little shell in. You know, that's everything right now in the prototypes. Hopefully it lasts through the production.
What?
You know, and
That's so cool.
Right?
oh yeah, the Law rocket extending tube.
Oh man.
Oh God.
I always
Oh.
wanted. So we said,
Remember the Range Viper version 1 that had the little rocket launcher? They had the little tube part.
yeah.
Now I just realized I'm looking back. I'm like, oh, that's what Hasbro was trying to do, but it looked goofy because it didn't look realistic.
I always love that.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah, and then even down to the like when we're doing some research, talked a lot of great Vietnam experts out there. They said, well, one gentleman said, well, you know, I was just going to go 45 to the helicopter door gunner and to the helicopter pilot. This is known. Most of them more use 38s. And I said, well, because it was a lighter gun, it was a smaller bullet, and it didn't create as much of a flash in the close quarters. I said, right. That's right. If you're shooting that and you're in a helicopter, or you're okay, that's okay. Make them a 38. You know, so all these great tidbits. You know, hear about the another thing. One of our LERPs has extra empty canteen pouches because they would use the AK-47s, go behind the lines, so their enemy wouldn't recognize it's a good guy using their gun. Okay, yep. But they didn't have anywhere to carry their ammo mags, so they would use empty canteen pouches to put the AK banana clips.
Nice.
That's why there's empty pockets listed on the. I'm like, empty pockets. I'm like, how intricate do people want their dioramas to be? Oh, they're not for diorama purposes. There's a practical historical explanation.
So you got this little empty canteen pouch.
That's awesome.
Ammo mags. That is so. When I saw the picture of it, I said that can't be it. Then I saw the picture. That is so cool.
That is brilliant. Okay, that makes a lot more sense to me now.
I've been looking forward to this line since I've heard the rumors of it a couple of years ago, because I'm a huge Navy SEAL fan, and a lot of my customs are Navy SEALs. And
interrupting you, we talked about things in the works. Also, we have a Halo gear and a rebreather for the.
Holy shit! Okay, I was just gonna say. I was looking at the SEALs, and I'm like, they don't have rebreathers. But then I'm like, maybe they didn't use them back in Vietnam. I don't know. Okay, here we go. I was gonna say you should show them that.
This is a 15-man custom box set that I did of SEALs.
So he had such trouble creating that box and getting it to print properly. I had some input into it, but
that's amazing. That's great.
I have been looking forward to this Kickstarter because I intend to do several Vietnam era SEALs. So
well, and that's what we also want to. You look at, we have 3 different tiger stripe camo patterns, but each of them are different color bases too. So yeah, you can do a tiger stripes. Okay, this guy's tiger stripe, this guy's tiger stripe. No, we wanted different camo and different colors. So you have a darker camo, a medium, and a lighter, just in those. And then we have some stretch goals that are even more camos too.
Well, so you are doing a rebreather for the SEALs. That makes sense. Because I remember when Brian shared the Kickstarter, he's like, as soon as the SEALs are unlocked, I'm in. And like 20 minutes later, he posts, okay, I'm in. The SEALs are unlocked. And I'm like, but I remember thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to see what gets unlocked first. 20 minutes. I'm not kidding when I say I said that. And I wasn't even looking to see what was unlocked. I'm like, oh, forget it. So I'm like at 35 minutes after I saw the announcement, I didn't see it right away. I'm like, okay, I'm backing this thing. And I'm like, I'm going to end up upping my support for it later. I know this. Judging by what I've seen so far. Because when I saw the news that you were releasing the bicep rolled up sleeves, and I'm like, somebody wanted to make Falcon and Lieutenant Falcon, and I'm like, that's clearly because I'm like the green beret with the rolled up sleeves. I'm like, yeah, that's Falcon all the way. So, but I didn't realize that you had different colored tiger stripe patterns coming out. So that's really cool. I didn't.
Now making it hard for me because painting is my thing, and now the camo is going to be so varied and so much better than what I can do. It's like,
Well,
I don't need to paint this anymore.
have you seen the most recent camo we've done for like the pants for the contract ops and on these new figures we did for the convention? The
I saw
the new
paints.
desert ops and the insurgent ops and the chimera ops.
Yeah, Johnny, he was he's the guy who got the Joe Fest Vipers for me. He was on the show with us, and he held up all those bodies with the new paint masks on, and he held them real close to the camera. And holy shit, that's cool.
Well, there's pictures up on the Marauder Task Force page too.
Yeah, well, yeah, since then, but he showed it to him. He showed it to us first, and I'm like, wow, that's intricate. And then I saw the pictures on the Facebook page that Marauder Task Force posted, and I'm like, wow, that's impressive. So now to find out that more camo colors are coming and more detailed, I'm like, I might not have to paint camo anymore. I can paint camo. Brian actually taught me how to do digital camo, and now I see that Marauder is doing digital camo. I'm like, good, because that shit's a pain in the ass to do.
It frees up your time to do other things too.
Right?
Yeah, like paint eyes.
Yeah.
So,
but like when we were out of the desert ops figures, we were going to do a reorder. So I get more of these, but do I want to go back and do a camo from 7 years ago? No, let's push it. Because with the pants for the contract ops figures, really pushed the camo pattern. I said, okay, we did that. How about if I do that for the desert ops and the chimera ops? I wanted the body of the chimera ops to be based in blue with the camo on it. The first time it came out was a light blue, which kind of wasn't really what I wanted, but it still worked out. So let's update that one. And the spec ops, we're going to do all new camos, and it's also going to be we're going to get the valves with that camo too, like the new urban op valve, the new desert op valve, the new insurgent op valve. We'll have the new camo pattern too.
Fantastic. I'm so looking forward to everything that Marauder has coming down the pike, because it's like a kid in a candy store. Because little this, and little this, and ooh, look how cool that is.
Well, I love that the Vietnam stuff has the tiger stripe patterns coming out, because John, do you watch Cobra Kai on Netflix?
I'm like halfway into season 1.
Okay, well, no spoilers, but in season 3 they start showing Vietnam flashbacks for one of the characters, and they're special ops there, so they have the tiger stripe patterns on their uniforms. And I saw those, and I'm like, I saw the Marauder Kickstarter, and I looked, I'm like, oh, these might be the first Cobra Kai customs I ever feel the need to do. I mean, I love Cobra Kai, but I've never felt that. I love ninjas, but I don't make a lot of customs because I don't need a lot of karate gis and stuff like. But I'm like, ooh, but I could make the Vietnam characters with Marauder stuff.
Yeah, and it's also
I'm pretty excited about that. So,
but then also we like having all those new body blanks too. So we can do different colors. Maybe we take the step out from, like with the World War II, we made red Germans and blue Germans, those bodies. Well, that didn't apply to them, but people really like it for other needs. Okay,
Red Shadows and Cobra in World War II. Yeah,
same thing we do with these bodies. We could do different, color versions or other things for it. But again, this is like with every Kickstarter, what's shown is only like a fraction what's actually released. On down the line, we're getting a lot of requests for. Well, they wanted for each version all skin colors. Well, that'd be a real difficult. We have all these SKUs. Now all of a sudden you're timing that SKU by 4, and then it comes down to picking it and also getting it shipped from the warehouse and production. It becomes a little difficult. But those are the kind of things available on the website after it's released.
Gotcha.
Just like we did with the World War II and.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. You can't put it all in up front. You can't possibly cover all the options people want right out of the gate. You can't do that. No, that would be a logistical nightmare.
Yeah. Well, especially since our whole business model is based on individual customization. So we'll get an order that has 18 pages, that has hundreds of items, and it's 6 of this pouch, 3 of that pouch, 2 of this, on down the line.
I'm sorry about that.
Page. No,
that's me.
But
you're one of many, I'm sure.
Well, imagine that on a Kickstarter level, because all these items you set up ahead of time before they're shipped. So we set aside nighttime work crews, weeks in advance, getting stuff ready just to pick the Kickstarter orders. So now you times that by, so you have to draw the line.
I know people don't necessarily always want to know how the sausage is made, but answer me one question I've been curious for a long time about. I know you started off as a very small company because, like you said, you started just designing the guns and stuff. But right now, how many people run the website? How many people do you have work? Because I know it's a small company. It's not as small as it used to be, obviously.
That's a
I'm
Wizard of Oz.
curious. I don't.
That's a Wizard of Oz question. Ignore the man behind the curtain. Look at the
Okay.
great
Okay. I wasn't
fireflies.
sure if it was something that you wanted to talk about or not, because I just it's something that I've
We're
been
very
curious
close to the
about.
vest, and like like the people who I bring into the Marauder fold, are few and far between. But again, it's just because it's we hold it very near and dear.
Well,
again,
it's fine that you don't want it, but just know that the people you've got working for you, they're doing a very good job.
Absolutely.
You provide a very good service, and I'm constantly impressed by it.
Well, thank you. But
clearly, the people you're bringing in are the right people for it.
But a lot of the folks at the warehouse, we're getting ready for Joe Fest, right? So, okay, great. How many of you guys want to go to Joe Fest with us? None of them raised their hand. I said, "You sure?" They said, "No." They said, "We do this 7 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day. Go have all the other good Marauder buddies do the show. Let them come in." And the crew had a great 8 days weekend. 8-day vacation. They loved it, And then I came back and everything. We were fine. I made the site live, and after the site being closed for 8 days, the first 2 days we did 10 times the normal volume each day. So I said, "Okay, well, double times back and working Saturday."
So we all get excited about the Vietnam Kickstarter and all that stuff. I'm just suddenly realizing, though, the only people that aren't excited are your warehouse people. They're looking at that saying, "Oh, great. November of next year, life is going to suck again." Awesome. Great. I mean, like I said,
the warehouse
you've
receiver
got good people doing the right thing, but some of them probably just think, they're probably thinking, some of these nerds just need to go find a real hobby, or a different hobby that does not overwhelm us with the warehouse orders.
Well, but everyone who works for us has passion. I mean, they all have their hobbies and eccentricities, but they understand. And but again, sometimes we wish there was more time in a day to get all the orders out. Sometimes we get overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, we could do X amount during the day, even with an extra shift. We got this much. Well, we got to get it. But they're all good folks, good natured, and no one thinks anything disparaging about anyone.
No, I'm making a joke, but
I know. Except me, they say, "What the hell?"
That you've been able to not only provide a living for yourself, but provide a living for others using a hobby that you enjoy. I think that's I'm a semi-professional photographer. If I could make a living at being a photographer, I'd stop being a paramedic, but I can't. Or customizing full-time, I would do that if I could, but I can't. And I applaud that you've been able to take something that you truly enjoy and make a living at it.
Well, God is good. Okay, because sometimes I'm here, we're there. I'll grab an order. I pack orders every day too. It's all hands on. We're all in the jungles of Nam fighting, tooth and nail. We're all right there. There's no one in the back saying, "Okay, go over there, go do this." No, we're there.
You're not supervising. Okay.
I'm supervising. Hey, this pick location's empty. Okay, I'll go get it. So it's no problem. So I'm doing an order that's, it's 23 pages, it's a bunch of stuff. And I say, "Oh, thank you, Prayer." I said, here's this person supporting us, getting these items that I thought up that someone might like, and they agreed. They want 5 of my little gas masks. Oh, they like the idea of the shotgun shells. And when I said I want to do shotgun shells, and the sculpt said, "Shotgun shells?" I said, "Yes." And I want to paint them brass and red. Really help make custom. Okay, fine. Exactly.
Yes, I love them.
So these in little helmet, and someone said, "Why do all the helmets have holes in them?" So the first series I came out had holes. I said, "Well, because that's a placeholder, because I want to have accessories that I can mount into that hole, but I need something to hold it for the time being." So that's that plug. So we eventually came out with more, night vision goggles and quad goggles and everything. But if I hadn't had that hole to start with, I would have had all new helmets.
Yeah, we're too old.
So you should always try to think, well, what can I use this for going forward? Just like we have that t-shirt torso right now in the contract ops. Well, that t-shirt torso can be able to use on the Vietnam guys. So I don't have to tool a whole new t-shirt, but you want to put a t-shirt on the guy with a flak jacket and a helmet, it's done. You don't have to tool it up. You know, I don't have to make it again. So I'm trying to make as many things backwards and forward compatible as possible. So everything with the first Marauder guys work with the current Marauder and vice versa. Now there are little things we had to do, like these skirts for some of the jackets for the World War II, and we had to modify the waist so the jacket with the skirt would fit accurately. So you can't use that waist without a jacket that has a skirt, but we're gonna have more waist available so you can mix and match. So nice. There's always things you can do.
Yeah, I did the Captain Miller, Captain Tom Hanks character from Saving Private Ryan, and it was all Marauder Task Force parts.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I just realized with the Vietnam stuff, I'll be able to make Colonel Moore from We Were Soldiers. I'm very excited about this.
I've got a Tom Berenger head that I've been saving for years to do his character from Platoon.
Oh yeah, there's going to be some really familiar looking kind of heads. Similar, not safe, you know, but so like the show We Were Soldiers, love that. I loved the sergeant who used the 45s. You wouldn't use the plastic guns, you know. So we got a couple surprises coming up that just have things like that.
That's super cool. I remember I saw the picture of the John Wick figure that you made, and then there was that lineup of all the Keanu heads and all the different hair colors, and I'm like, I've never imagined redheaded Keanu before, but that's interesting. But the fully loaded, the John Wick, that was another one I had to order. I'm like, my God, talk about full battle rattle. That's impressive.
Well, we don't know who that character you're talking about is. We call him Theodore.
Well, okay,
Theodore.
We don't
just in a suit with a beard, and, you know.
This is true. Although I do feel like Keanu himself would probably approve, but you're right. Let's not get into that. So Brian will tell you I'm real good with file names for GI Joes, but when it comes to code names and nicknames for other things, I'm terrible. So I don't.
So we got, like, with the Gear to figures, I always try to come up with something that, like we did for the Joe Fest, we did a version of we call them loco legs. Okay. And he has that distinctive gray with the red.
Yes.
And we said, well, how could we, you know, but you have to have that distinctive, you know, tan parachute harness. I said, well, I don't have that inventory. I said, well, I do have dog leashes. So I worked some dog leashes.
Is that how that was done? I wondered about that. Okay. That's impressive.
With a tan German backpack used from the solid tan figure released last year. So it works. I look at it, I said, that works, you know, because
it does. I remember I was looking at the pictures. I'm like, did they really tool up a parachute pack just
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, we looked at the pack and like recognized the pack, but I'm like, I didn't recognize the straps. I'm like,
that is brilliant, sir.
When you're a kid and you played with it, first thing you did is took off that backpack and you used the figure. I said, well, okay, now you take it off, you display your figure.
That is awesome.
So it's just little happy little accidents, and just, again, it comes from all of us. You know, if I put any of you guys in the warehouse, all these pick locations, and you have the items, you get super creative. You'll think of things you hadn't thought of before, because you see, you know, it's kind of overwhelming sometimes. You sit and you'll see, you know, 35 different helmets, all the same one with different colors. And then next to it, there's another 36 different helmets, different colors, and you go, oh, this color combination, let me grab this, and it just works. It's fun.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And we are right at an hour. I wanted to keep it fairly short today. Number one, because I know you're busy. And number two, we wanted to keep it, JD and I, we can prattle on for hours, but we wanted to make sure that everybody would not just like get bored and just stop watching it, because we wanted to have as much focus on you as we could for the Marauder Task Force, Marauder Inc., and of course the Marauder Vietnam Kickstarter. All the information for that, if you don't already know that, you've probably been living under a rock. But
why are you listening to this if you don't know about that? I'm just saying.
So we will have all that information in the show notes. And John, thank you so much for being with us. It is an honor and a pleasure to have you with us. It means a lot to both JD and I, who have been
Yes.
customers since the very beginning, to
I
talk to you.
as much as I would love to monopolize your time, keep you on for another hour, I'm not going to do that, but I could. But it has been an honor. Thank you for this.
Hey, gentlemen, thank you so much. I appreciate the invite. Thank you for letting me prattle on and just talk about, you know, all the how we started, where we got you, what we're doing, and again, it's just comes. We just want to thank our supporters. It sounds like a bad, you know, Oscar speech, but my gosh, if it wasn't for you folks in this, our fellow collectors, we wouldn't be here. It would have fizzled out in 2005. They would have laughed at the Minneapolis convention and just went on their way. But my gosh, we're into our 8th weapon series. We're releasing, you know, you had asked me what, 7 years ago, hey, are you going to release action figures? I don't know. Well, look, now we're going to the Vietnam. We're looking at all those others. And it's been a real wonderful ride, and we're glad that you guys are there with us. And again, we wouldn't be here without you guys.
And we appreciate all those viewers that watched the show. So as always, please do that fun social media stuff. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. And as always, thank you for watching. And John, JD, and I are both hoping to be at Joe Fest next year.
Oh,
yes. Couldn't make it this year. Really do want to go next year. So.
That's a great time.
So thank you, everybody, and thanks for watching.